process, right? Okay? How many people feel they have some sort of sense of what a director does? Either a movie director or a theater director or somebody. Okay, Eric, shoot.
It's in the name, direct.
Yeah, okay, they're guiding the process, right? What else?
He's running rehearsals.
Running rehearsals. The nuts and bolts of just organizing, making it happen.
Trying to help actors to make the choices.
That's excellent. Right, helping actors guide some choice making by actors, maybe also by designers. Go ahead.
They have ideas of how they want each scene to look in their own mind.
Okay, that idea may be incredibly specific. It could be maybe impressions, depending on how dictatorial that director happens to be. Maybe that person is a super micromanagement kind of manager. What kind of manager are you? Micromanager, or you let everybody do their own thing?
I'm a swing manager.
What? Right, because
you.
the people that work for you can't be trusted to do their own thing. If they're going to do their own thing, they're just going to smoke up and sit in the back room. They'll just go leave, right? Nice. Yes, I want you to do this your way. They're like, my way is punch out. Right? So, you're a micromanager, right? You're like, okay, the French fries have got to be put into the tray in this particular way. They got to go in for this amount of time, because if you don't explain it, they'll come back and like, you didn't explain it. Right? Okay? So that tells me that you, as a director, and directors in general, tend to not just be the director they want to be, but the director that the experience demands that they become. Okay? So that is true, as all management positions in life tend to be. You can back off and broad stroke it when you've got lots of capable people working with you. Okay? And that, your inclination, it depends. In this particular case, you're going to write a director's statement as if you are essentially presenting yourself to like an artistic director who is choosing between multiple directors for this project. So it's not like you're totally pitching this to the artistic director, but you are putting together the way you would approach this piece. So you want to include as many aspects of your feelings about this piece as you can. Now, how specific you want to be in terms of, do you want to guide in more of a direction of like your impressions, or do you want to guide like literally, I want like a house and I want 5 boards on the back wall, and that depends on you. Okay? Either way, it could be the same quantity of words, it's just what words are you choosing? Okay? Are you saying, I want it to be desolate, I want a sense of isolation, I want a sense that this woman is living on her own planet, and when this man comes along, it's as if it's an extraterrestrial. It's such a surprise to him. Okay? That sends a lot of messages, right? I can derive some visuals from that, maybe even some audio cues, maybe some lighting cues, maybe even some acting cues. Right? Or maybe I want to be super specific and be like, okay, no, it needs to look like a barn from the 1930s that's been in the Dust Bowl. I need boards and dust. I want it to be 3-walled. Okay? Maybe I want to get that specific. Either way, same volume of writing in terms of number of words, but different sort of focus. Okay? Either one, fine. So the director is coming at the experience from a guiding point of view, like Eric says. What she is guiding is the artistic unity of the production. Okay? Obviously, the director is working with the stage manager. There are certain sort of scheduling practicalities to putting the rehearsal together, right? No question about that. But ultimately, the director is in charge of the artistic unity of the piece. And that is essentially why the function of the director kind of began in the first place. Prior to the late part of the 19th century, directors really, that job didn't really exist. Okay? We see in Shakespeare in Love, for example, there really is no director, right? Some of the time, Ben Affleck's character, who is the sort of lead actor, He's sort of directing rehearsals, teaching the dances, etc., etc. Sometimes Shakespeare seems to be directing. Okay? So the show just kind of got put together as we understand it. Okay? The leading sort of personality of the company kind of took care of it. But again, what we're really working to unify is pretty simple stuff. It's mostly acting, the relationship between the actor and the text. Costumes were not designed by anyone. Actors just sort of brought their costumes. Okay? Sets really didn't exist. It was pretty much architectural. The building was the building. A Greek play looked like every other Greek play. It had fixed architectural elements that did not change radically. Okay? But at the end of the 19th century, the late part of the 19th century, we start to see a lot of technical advancement. All of a sudden, scenography and scene design becomes a really important part of what's going on. Things become highly technical. Things are coming on and off. Whole houses are put on stage. The audience is fascinated with this kind of thing. Specific sets are being painted and created for specific scenes. And that's part of what people come to see. It's the Industrial Revolution. People are excited by technology. Okay? They want to see complicated sets and complicated special effects. Coordinating that is equally complicated in terms of coordinating that with actors. Likewise, at the end of the century, at the end of the 19th century, we see gas jet lighting, the first ability to control lighting, and later in the beginning of the 20th century, electric lighting. So lighting can be dimmed, lighting can be changed. And this is huge. Okay? It isn't just on and off. When you got candles, they're either burning or they're out. Okay? And they ain't easy to light again. Okay? So if you snuff the candles in the audience and you have the candles over the stage, that's pretty much the lighting. Okay? But now we have huge options as to how we can create mood, color, intensity. All these things are a part of our palette now. There's a whole person doing this. Separate maybe from the person that's doing the set. So getting them on the same page has to be someone's job. And that's what the director does. Is bringing all of these different designers, the actors, and the playwright all into harmony to create this production. And I want you to think of it that way. Imagine that you are communicating in this director's concept to individuals who are each specializing, creating something on their own. How to get them all working together. Okay? Now you're going to read about that in the, not only in the chapter, but also in the web links that are attached. Okay? Talking about how the director does this, but in very sparse terms. There's not a ton of reading. I want you to focus more on the doing of it. Experiment with the doing of it. Now, a director could be dealing with a contemporary play, like a play that you guys have written, or they could be dealing with a classic. To a large extent, we start to see sort of a breakout of two radically different ways of approaching text. One is what is sort of described as somewhat more editorial, meaning that the director is specifically being an interpretive artist. Okay? Alexander writes a play. In the theater, he has a lot of control over his final product of his play. We tend, contractually in the professional theater, to respect the playwright to a great extent, and the playwright usually has refusal over cuts, etc. We don't buy the play from them. The playwright essentially licensed the play to be directed, produced at that, and then will be licensed and directed other venues, etc. It isn't a final product. In film, a producer would buy that play, he would buy the rights to that play, and that would be it. Alexander might not even be involved in the screenplay of it, even if he was a very famous playwright. Edward Albee, super famous when he wrote Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, very big project, Warner Brothers, from the beginning, Elizabeth Taylor on board, Burton, the biggest, most famous people in Hollywood acting in it. And Edward Albee did not touch it once it went to screenwriter, Lehman, who actually had so much clout he became the producer. He was very happy with the final product, but he did not have control of the outcome. Very different in theater. In the theater, Albee, no play ever goes up on Broadway of Edward Albee's that Edward Albee has not made the decision as to every word that is in the play. Okay? That doesn't mean that when I begin my relationship with Alexander as director and playwright, that there might not be changes. There might be many. We might be developing the play from where it is right now, where he's basically just written it. We start to have people read it. We're not in production with the people that are actually going to produce it. We're just working on the play. We're working on it. Maybe, I don't